Hello, welcome to another video. As you can tell from the title, today we have December's edition of TBR Pursuit. If you are unfamiliar with TBR Pursuit, it is my TBR board game. I will link the first one and the following ones down below if you would like to familiarise yourself with the game. But basically, each colour correlates to a genre. We've got sci-fi, YA fantasy, adult fantasy, middle grade, other, and blanks. Land on a piece, fill in my pie, pick a book from that genre that correlates to whatever the prompt on the card is the general gist. So yeah, we have December's one coming up for you. December is gonna be a funny month reading wise because the Magical Readathon obviously has the winter edition in December, but it's not the sort of readathon you can prep for this time around. It's like a story as you go. G's made like a website and you go through the chapters and pick like your path, and it then gives you a prompt or 3 each week. So no one will know what their prompts are yet, so there's no way to prep for it. So we're just gonna go ahead with this TBR Pursuit as if that's not happening, and then when I do it, I will hopefully be able to pick whatever books I get into that. But really there is absolutely no guarantee that that will happen. This could go completely down the drain. We will see. On Twitter, I also asked you guys about what I should do for a punishment for not finishing a TBR, because spoiler alert, I did not finish last month's TBR Pursuit TBR and was not sure how to punish myself for that. But you guys are all super lovely and said that, you know, it's Christmas, reading should be fun, you shouldn't punish yourself for not doing it. So I'm gonna skip out on the punishment. You guys said I could. And then maybe in the new year we will take the punishments a little more seriously. I don't know. In the holiday spirit, we're letting me off that one. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really say about December. Obviously it's usually a very busy month. I think I am busy every single weekend in December. Obviously you spend a lot of time with family, it's Christmas, there's all sorts to do. So fingers crossed that this goes okay. But yeah, there's not really any telling. So without further rambling, shall we get on with roll number 1? Okay, so as usual I have my little pink pie and my dice, so let's crack on with roll number 1. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4's at the end, so we really have a choice of anything so far, and as blues are the most adaptable, I think I'm gonna go for a nice blue blank. And the card is, what was your last purchase? That one's pretty easy. So of course we have a little blue pie in there. Okay, so far, okay, I know it's only roll number 1, but so far, so good. So for blue blank, that is, what was your last purchase? The last book that I purchased for myself, this is not including gifts because you guys send me some lovely little gifts and I appreciate it so much, but the last book that I purchased for myself was The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, and I desperately wanted to get to this in November, but it was not on any TBRs and there was absolutely no chance in hell that was going to happen. So being able to put it as number 1 in my December TBR is something I'm pretty happy with. I mean, it's not a small book, so we're starting off pretty hefty, but I desperately want to read this. It's one of my most anticipated reads. I don't know too much about it, but I want to go into it pretty blind because Erin Morgenstern's writing is just so whimsical and like mind-boggling. I am expecting really great things from this. I love the Night Circus so much, and I hope that the like whimsy and the atmosphere is the same in this. Cracking off with my latest purchase, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So for roll number 2, we are going for a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the end. So we have either a purple for adult fantasy or a yellow for sci-fi. I think I would like to go for purple adult fantasy, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and the card is wild card. Okay, so I got purple for adult fantasy, but a wild card pretty much means I can replace that with anything, whatever I like. Okay, interesting. And of course we have a little purple pie slice for that. So roll number 2. We got a wild card, a purple wild card, so should have been an adult fantasy, but wild card means I can ignore all of the rules completely and just read what I really want to read. No genre stipulation, no anything, just pick a book you want to read. And I cannot go into 2020 without finishing this series. So I'm going to read Crownbreaker by Sebastian de Castell. This is the 6th book in the Spellslinger series, the last book in the Spellslinger series. I am going to be broken by this book, I think, but I need to read it. I'm not going into the new year without having finished off this series. I've loved this so much, and it's the last one. We're so nearly there. It's absolutely devastating, but this is gonna be amazing. I just know it is. I'm so excited for it, so it's going there. This has to be read before the end of the year, so a wildcard opportunity to throw this in there, it's there. I'm very, very, very excited about this one. Right, roll number 3. We are having 4 again, so I could go back to a blue blank, or I could have a pink YA fantasy. Let's go for a pink YA fantasy. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the card for that one is name a book that matches the topic colour. Okay, this was a suggested card, so a YA fantasy that has some element of like pink on the cover to match the pink that we have fallen on. And of course, a pink YA fantasy pie there. So for roll number 3, a YA fantasy, plenty of those, but name a book that matches the topic colour. So pink is YA fantasy, the book has to match the colour pink in some respect. And you know what? I don't have many pink YA fantasies, but there is one that sticks out like a sore thumb, and I mean, if I had it my way, this would not be on my December TBR. It's not one that's calling out to me much. That is The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. I mean, pink spine, pink sprayed edges, pink glowing text. It fits. I'm not overly excited about this anymore. I've seen some pretty average reviews for it. It's not exciting me, but maybe it will surprise me. That would be nice. But yeah, it's on there. From what I can remember about this, the mist is like really dangerous and they find dead things in it, dead bodies, I don't know. And there are like some founding children from the city. Fans of the Raven Boys and Stranger Things rejoice. I freaking love the Raven Boys. I have not watched Stranger Things. So I'm hoping this surprises me, but I don't have great hopes for it. So this is where the TBR starts to go downhill. Let's hope we can pick it back up. Time for roll number 4, and we have a 2. So we could have a yellow science fiction or a green middle grade. I'm gonna go for a green middle grade because I love a middle grade. And the card, green middle grade. What is a recent release? And of course, a green pie in there. Roll number 4 got us a middle grade. We love a middle grade, and the prompt for this, green middle grade, what is a recent release? Now, from my recent releases, middle grade wise, I've read most of them because Believathon just happened and I read the like new ones I had. However, one that was on my Believathon TBR that was a relatively recent release that I didn't get to was The Battle for Perfect, and I really want to read this. This is the last book in the Perfect trilogy, A Place Called Perfect, about a place called Perfect, where everything is a bit creepy, nothing is quite what it seems, and it's up to Violet, our main character, to kind of work out what the frick's going on, and she kind of teams up with a lad called Boy and get wound up in all this mysterious weirdness. The series is very Coraline-esque. I quite enjoy it and have been wanting to get to the last one, and now I can. And that's another series I can close off as well before the end of the year, which is always a good thing to do. Perhaps the TBR is redeeming itself. Time for roll number 5. 2. So we could have purple adult fantasy or pink YA fantasy. Let's go for another purple and see if we actually get an adult fantasy this time. So, purple adult fantasy. What's been on the TBR longest? Oh boy. Regretting my decisions with another purple pie in there. I spoke way too soon about the TBR redeeming itself. Purple adult fantasy. I thought this could be Good, really. What's been on the TBR the longest? You know what? I searched and searched and searched for something that had been on my TBR longer than this because I did not want to put this on my December TBR. But there's no avoiding it, really. There's no way for me to escape the fact that the longest standing adult fantasy on my shelf, the one I've been putting off for, with no exaggeration, years, multiple years, we could be looking at 5 years that this has been on my shelf. American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I love Neil Gaiman's writing. Some of his books are my absolute favourites. It's just the size of this that intimidates me. From what I know about this, it's about some gods that are like banished to Earth in human bodies or something. Days before his release from prison, Shadow's wife, Laura, dies in a mysterious car crash. Numbly, he makes his way back home. On the plane, he encounters the enigmatic Mr. Wednesday, who claims to be a refugee from a distant war, a former god, and the King of America. Together, they embark on a profoundly strange journey across the heart of the USA, whilst all around them, a storm of epic proportions threatens to break. I'm just really scared of this one, because it's Neil Gaiman. I think I'm gonna love it. Like, I really think it's gonna be one that I'm gonna enjoy a lot, but the size of it. And I mean, I've already got some sizable books on here, but there's no avoiding it. This is the longest standing fantasy, or adult fantasy, on my TBR. I'm slowly slumping just because I'm like giving up. But I am excited to read it. I just genuinely don't know when I'm gonna have the time because it's a whopper. Yeah, cool. Alright, well, we'll have it. Pray for me. And finally, roll number 6. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. YA fantasy, pink, or blank blue. I literally have not moved around the board this time, but let's go for another blank for fun. 1, 2, 3, 4. A blank blue. Oh, and the card is a 5-star prediction. We like those, I suppose. They're intimidating, but we like those. And finally, a little blue slice for that. Definitely did not travel around the board as much as usual. And then lastly, another blank. I really did not move around the board. I just stayed on one side, kind of accidentally, but it is what it is. But I think we ended where we started. But a 5-star prediction. We love a 5-star prediction, and I hope to redeem the TBR by reading I Hear You Screaming, Pris. Nevermore by Jessica Townsend, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. I started this a little while ago. I got like 40 pages in and something happened and I put it down and just didn't pick it up again. But I think this is going to be a 5-star read for me. I love middle grade, and this is a middle grade that absolutely everybody else loves, so why wouldn't I? I think it's going to be great. It's been on my TBR a really long time as well. Like, I should have read this by now. So yeah, throwing this on the end as my last set TBR book of 2019. And hopefully one that can pick up the pace of this TBR Pursuit, because there's some whoppers there. Okay, so there we have it. This, oh, I can't pick this stack up. This is the result of December's TBR Pursuit. I'm excited about most books on this stack. There is one that I kind of wish wasn't on there, and that's gonna be this one. I just don't think I'm gonna like it. I don't know why, but I don't think I'm gonna like it. At least for the rest of them, I think I'm gonna really like them, even if I wish this wasn't here because it's gonna really slow me down pace-wise. But I still think I'm gonna love it. It's just this one that's throwing me off. We'll see how I stand with that though. But yeah, there we go. There is TBR Pursuit for December of 2019. Wish me luck. That is everything I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great December. I hope you will have a very Merry Christmas and all that jazz, as if I won't see you before then. Fingers crossed I can squeeze some of these into whatever prompts I get for the Magical Readathon. Really fingers crossed for that, because there's absolutely no telling. If you are participating in that, then best of luck to you as well. And yeah, have a great month. I will see you in the next one. Bye!